Good morning, Year 6, and welcome to Wednesday's literacy lesson. We are already halfway through the week, and I know you probably can't believe it. So because of that, our test is coming up. It's looming there on Friday. There's a good opportunity to have a little practice at how we spell our words. So I've got the new word list on the board that you've been having a look at on Monday and Tuesday. And what we're going to do is we're going to use the spinner again. We used it about 3 weeks ago, and I know that loads of you really enjoyed it. So if you remember, this is what the spinner looks like, and we spin it once. There we go, to tell us what spelling we're going to be doing. So that's spelling number 2. So if I look back at my spelling list, it's brilliant. And then I spin it again, and it tells me how many times I've got to practice the word brilliant. Oh, once. Okay, that's okay. Right, so you'll need your purple book. You will need to be able to see your spelling list words. So either on Edshed or pause the video and have a look at them from the board. And then you need to be able to get onto that spinner. All right, I'm hoping that you have lots of fun practicing those words. Pause the video, off you go. Right, Year 6. I'm sure that you're going to tell me, oh, my arm's aching, and now we've got to do handwriting. You will be fine. We've been looking at letters of the alphabet, and we're on to J. And J, like G and Y, sits on the line. Okay, and we're going to loop it just like we would with our Y and our G. So I'm going to show you how you do the words, how you join the words, and then you are going to, underneath your spelling activity, you are going to practice 2 lines of join, 2 lines of majority, 2 lines of pajamas, 2 lines of banjo, and finally 2 lines of adjust. Now remember, we need to get those lowercase letters exactly the same height, ascenders nice and tall the same height, and make sure that P and Y and J and G and Q, etc., all sit on the line. Right, let's have a little go then. So firstly, join. So I've got the J at the beginning. So we'll lead into the J and then loop it, R-O-I-N. And then I can dot my I, and don't forget to dot your J. All right? And then we're going to have a little look at majority. So I've got lead into my N, A, J, O, R, I, T, Y. You can see my I is nice and tall. Everything else that needs to is sitting on the line. And I've got my lowercase letters the same height, and I've dotted my J and my I. Right, next one, pajamas. Now this is going to be interesting because we've got a Y and a J next to one another and both loop. Okay, so hold on to your hats. So we lead into the P, which sits on the line. Okay, into our Y looped, into our J looped, and then A, M, A, S. Right, I'm going to have a little go at that again because it's a bit tricky, that one. So lead into my P, into the Y loop, into the J, into the A, M, A, S. And again, my loop on my J isn't fantastic, so I could probably do with practicing that again. I'm sure you're going to do better than me. Right, then we've got banjo. I'm going to do banjo here, so we'll lead into the B, A, N, loop J, and we dot it right at the end. Okay, and finally adjust. So I'll lead into my A, nice tall D, into my J, which I'll loop into the U, S, T, and then I come back, dot, and cross where I need to. Sure, you're going to do beautiful handwriting. I'm really seeing a huge difference in those people who are really taking their time to practice. So well done, and I'm looking forward to seeing it in your books next week. Right. Pause the video. Don't forget, 2 lines of each. Have a little go. Right, so today we're using our writing books. And you're going to need your writing book in front of you. And I want you to turn to page 15, please. And it's all about the life of Galileo that we're going to be looking at. We're going to be concentrating on paragraphs and conjunctions, and we've been looking a little bit at those over the past couple of sessions when we've been either in our reading task or in our writing task. So it's just getting us thinking again, how do I make my writing cohesive? How do I keep the flow going? And we're going to be looking at that again today. So we're going to have a look at question 1. Now, as I say, it's all about the life of Galileo. And so one of the things that when you're doing a piece of writing, non-fiction, and a biography, you've got to make it flow logically. So you have to organise your paragraphs so they go in a nice chronological order. So you're not jumping about. So there's his early life, there's his death, there's what he did when he went to school, and because that just puts your reader off. They can't follow your train of thought. So you have to be nice and logical. So what you need to do to make your writing easier is to link, so using those conjunctions, and you have to make sure that the words and phrases show the order that things happen in, as well as the cause and effect of events. So it's using those varied conjunctions. So don't forget what a paragraph is. A paragraph is a section, a chunk of writing that focuses on a particular theme. And when you've used all the things you want to say about that particular theme, you start a new paragraph. But obviously, within that your paragraph, you need to make sure that your sentences link. And when you come to write your next paragraph, you also need to make a seamless link into the next topic. So it's quite tricky. It's getting you thinking about that. Okay, so the first thing that you are going to do today is you are going to have a little look at those topics that would be included in a biography on Galileo's life. Okay, he's a very important scientist, and particularly in the field of astronomy. So you've got these particular topics. What order would you put them in? So you've got Galileo's education, you've got his early life, discoveries about space, which were between 1609 and 1617, his Galileo's death, physics experiments, and it carries on in yours, 1638, and then he's placed under house arrest, and that happened in 1633. So what order would you put those events in? And let's have a look what you come up with. So I'd like you to turn to page 15 in your book. You're having a little look at question 1. You've got 6 lines to put your topics in order from 1 to 6. What order would you do them? Pause the video, have a go. Right, year 6, let's have a look and see how you did. So the first thing I would start off with is his early life. So that would be my number 1. Then I would go on to his education. Okay, so then we've got discoveries about space, we've got physics experiments, and we've got the church. Well, his discoveries about space come the earlier than the other 2 events. So I would have that as number 3. So what he discovered. Then he was placed under arrest by the church, okay, in 1633. So that would be my number 4. I didn't like his experiments and what he was saying. Then I would go to those experiments which happened in 1638. And finally, number 6 would be when he died. So that would be a really good chronological sequence of events that would make sense if you were creating a biography on Galileo. All right, hopefully you've got those right. So let's have a look then at the next activity. So you're going to turn over the page and we're going to have a look now at what we call those linking words, those conjunctions that are going to make our paragraph flow. Okay, so the sentences link into one another. It's thinking about those openers, so there isn't he or Galileo all the time. It's making it interesting and it's getting that cohesion going through. So this is nice and straightforward, this part, because you are given options. So what you want to do here is look at the words in bold type. So we've got rarely, initially, We've got therefore, however, we've got because of this, in contrast, and we've got although and since. So what you need to do is which sounds the best. As I'm reading it through, which of the two options sound the best? So for example, Galileo Galilei was born in 1564 in Italy. So which sounds best now? Rarely the Galileo family lived in Pisa, or initially the Galileo family lived in Pisa. Well, rarely does not sound good at all, does it? So it says here, circle the correct option from the linking words in bold to make the writing flow. So I would circle initially. Can you see that a comma comes after our conjunction? Really important to make sure that you've got those in. Okay, so you're going to have a little look, page 16, pause the video, select which you think is the best choice of conjunction linking words. Okay, pause the video, have a go. Right, year 6, let's have a little look how you got on then. So we did the first one. Okay, so Galileo Galilei was born in 1564 in Italy. Initially, the Galilei family lived in Pisa. Okay, so then we need to think which sounds best now. Therefore, in 1574, they moved to Florence. However, in 1574, they moved to Florence. However sounds best, so I would circle however. Galileo's father, Vincenzo Galilei, was a famous lute player. So because of this, Galileo became skilled in the instrument too. Or in contrast, Galileo became skilled in the instrument too. Well, because of this, sounds best. Okay, so I would circle that one. Then we've got although or since Vincenzo had to work hard to support his family, he found time to tutor Galileo in Latin and Greek. So, which sounds better? Although Vincenzo had to work hard to support his family, since Vincenzo had to work hard to support his family. I think although sounds better. So I would circle although. All right. So that's that next task completed. Okay. So you have got this task at the bottom. Okay. It says, the sentence below is the end of a paragraph. Use the information in the box to write the next paragraph. Start with a suitable linking word or phrase and use them to join sentences and clauses in your paragraph. So you've got this information here. So he began a medical degree at university. He attended a math lecture. He became fascinated with that. And his maths teacher asked Galileo's father to let him study maths instead of medicine. So he started off, he wanted to become a priest, and then his dad wanted him to become a doctor, and then it all fell into place with maths instead. So what I've done is on the next board, since you've got all that information in your book, you're going to use that to create a paragraph, just like the paragraph above where we were using those, we're circling the linking words, but you are going to now put it together and use those conjunctions in there. So what I've done is I've put this board that we've used earlier in the week, and you are going to use conjunctions from this that will help your writing flow. Now remember, you really need to select the conjunction that flows. If you choose the wrong one, then your writing is going to be, it's not going to make sense, and it's not going to flow like you want it to do, and you're going to be disappointed. So you're going to do task number 3 on page 16. Task number 3, you're going to use the information. You've got the starter here. You're going to use the rest of the information that's on the side in the box, and you're going to use the linking words from the next board to create me a paragraph about what happened to Galileo, how he came to study maths. Okay, I'm going to flick this board back on. Make sure you choose the right options. Pause the video, Off you go. Okay, year six. Right, your next activity. All right, your final activity, this one. And it's on page 17 now. Now, what you've got to do is you've got to, there's two sections of information. One that talks about the church, okay, and how Galileo and the church didn't get on. Okay, they didn't agree with what Galileo was saying. And the other talks about how Galileo came to discover, some of his the things that he did. Okay, you are going to choose one of those paragraphs now, one of those sections of information. Sorry, and you are going to create a paragraph that has those conjunctions in so that it flows. So you've got to decide, how am I going to start my paragraph off? What linking words, what conjunctions am I going to use that's going to make my writing flow? And you also need to make sure that you're choosing the right bits of information from here so that your paragraph is about one subject, one particular subject. It's either about Galileo and his discoveries or Galileo and the church. So how are you going to start your paragraph off? What conjunctions are you going to use? How are you going to make sure that your writing flows? All right. So it tells you there, gives you a hint. Think about which event should come in your paragraph. It says here 2. I'm not going to get you to do 2. I just want you to concentrate on 1 and make it the best that you possibly can do as your challenge today. All right, I'm going to put the board back on with the conjunction so you can see it, so you can pause it, and you can create your paragraph either about Galileo and the church or Galileo's scientific discoveries. Remember, it's really important that it flows and you've got those conjunctions in it. All right, so board's back. You'll be able to write that in your book. You're looking at page 17 and pause the video, off you go. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.